Finally, I've got both camera in hands. Of course, I'm talking about a Canon R5 and R6, and now it is really, Canon is finally back. Well, when I say Canon is back, when of course the EOS R is almost 2 years now. I have said it last time that Canon is actually serious about mirrorless this time. People are not completely satisfied with the EOS R, but it just proves that Canon is serious this time, and this is proof that Canon is super serious this time. So let's get to it. Let's just start right at some 8K footage. This is DCI 8K, and you can crop into 100% in 4K. Obviously, this is amazing. And low holding back, Canon gives you 10-bit 422 8K. Now DCI is wider than what we used to the UHD 4K or 8K. If you switch UHD 8K, it cut away the left and right side from the DCI 8K into this. So can you say the UHD 8K is cropped? Depends, I guess. And when you switch with R6, it only shoots 4K and it got a slight crop, 1.07 times crop. Interesting is that the R6 slight crop round up roughly the same kind of crop to R5 shooting 16:9. Now this is the first time ever a Canon camera got an in-body stabilization as well. Now their lens IS is already really good ever since when I was using the 5D Mark II, Mark III. I love the lens IS. They are good enough for video shooting. Now combining with lens IS, it can do up to 8 stops of stabilization, which is crazy. Now for now, without a head-to-head comparison, I feel like this level of stabilization it looks like the same as Canon usual in-lens stabilization. But I have to borrow some camera and lens and do more tests later to see how much of a difference is the sensor shift in body stabilization. Now of course, Canon got the really great dual pixel AF, and now this is dual pixel AF2. This is Mark II as well. What is it? What is it new? This got 1053 points of AF points across the sensor. So many of them, and the AF points are cover the whole sensor. The whole sensor 100% can do autofocusing. Whatever you move to the really edge of the frame, it can still focus. And also it got AI deep learning, whatever deep thinking thing. Now the first time I heard of it is from the Panasonic S1, and it was great because when you turn around, it can still focus, it can still recognize a human body, or even in this case, it can even recognize the head, even if your head turned around. This is really great. This is what technology is about. Because before that, you have to have a face for it to recognize. But now, even the back, this is great. Now I saw this on Panasonic S1 at the first time. I was so impressed. But the problem with Panasonic is that it can recognize, but it can't focus on it sometimes. But this obviously should be much better, even in backlighting situations. Now I have to say, in my test, sometimes even when I went back a little bit, it lost track of my face. But it could be because this is a prototype camera, it has a beta firmware, and maybe because I was wearing mask. Again, later I will have to borrow a retail final version camera and do more tests to confirm this. Now Canon said that it supports human eye focusing and animal, including cats, dogs, and birds. Canon showed some footage with us like this cat eye focusing. What's more, even this dog is not looking at the lens, it still can focus on its head. Of course, Canon said it can focus on the bird, even bird eye AF. But what's more, now this is not officially support with this. This is a meerkat or something. I just read this from a Google search. And a sloth upside down, turtle IAF, and fish. What the hell? Fish IAF? Canon is crazy. Crazily good. Now the price you have to pay for 8K is the price of a new computer. I have a 2017 iMac and it can't just play back those 8K footage. I have to do transcoding, but even after that, it just improved a slight little bit. Until I set my Final Cut Pro to better performance, which when it played back a lower resolution version, and now I can actually edit these footage. It just reminds me of the early days of 4K. What's more, in total I have only shot 8 minutes of 8K footage today. The total size is 76GB, which I have been used to 64GB card. The biggest news of the R5 is obviously the 8K, but actually taking photo is not bad as well because it got 45 megapixel and it got a really low joke burst rate, 12 fps mechanical shutter, 20 fps electronic shutter, which is like a huge middle finger to Sony. But this time I forgot to borrow a longer lens. I only got a 15 to 35 f2.8. I will borrow this camera later and borrow a better lens for this kind of shooting, obviously. Well, the first thing you notice when you grip it in your hands is of course the grip, because the grip is just so Canon. You know that if you have used Canon for a while, you pick it up and you know that this is a Canon. I think it's got the same feeling just like the EOS R. For someone who have been using Sony camera for a long time, I like this grippy grip a lot. Now one big thing is the EVF because it's big in dots. It got a 5 point something K dots and it got 120 fps refresh rate. It is so smooth. It's so smooth, it's almost like looking out with OVF. That is how great it is. And the 5.76 million dot is exactly the same as the Panasonic S1, the previous best EVF, and this have it exactly the same. Now the R6 has a slightly less, well maybe not slightly, it has a slightly less dots, just 3.68 million dots, which is actually not bad. And especially both have 120 fps refresh rate, which is lovely, which is just so lovely. Now on the body, two camera doesn't really have that much difference. The biggest difference is of course the R5 got a LCD on top, but the R6 got a modal. But other than that, most of the things are basically the same. Record button, same. On button is the same. The button at the back is exactly the same. You still got this really great joystick. You still got this really big modal, not modal, the dial, which both cameras have 3 dials, which is really handy. You got 1, 2, and 3 dials. You got 1 dial for each setting: shutter speed, aperture. No, this is the ISO and aperture. Both of them got dual card slot now. What the main complaint of how the EOS R had been solved. R6 you got 2 SD card. R5 you got a CF Express and a SD card slot. The ports are kind of like same thing and difference. You got a SYNC cord here, flash SYNC cord on the R5. You got a remote connection for R6. You got small HDMI, the micro HDMI output, and the USB-C. Now this USB-C, if you got a PD compatible USB-C power bank, you can power the camera while you are shooting. And of course, you can charge the battery with this. Something quite interesting is that switching from the LCD and EVF is really quick with these 2 cameras. Look at that. This is probably, I think, it's probably the fastest to switch between them that I've ever seen. This is, look at that. Now this is the first log video, because this is so early, I can't borrow them back to do a full review yet. I'm in Canon office in Hong Kong, which is a pretty great office here. This is just an influencer workshop, so I can't really borrow them to test out the overheating. Is it really a big problem? Is it just a loads of fuss on the web? One thing about the R5, I think, is that I really hope that they have a 5K or 6K option because this only provide 4K and 8K. But I guess the reason is that this sensor is designed for 8K. It's really easy to give you an oversample 4K footage, but maybe not 5K, 6K. But I do hope that there's an option. Maybe a little slight crop. I don't really mind. 6K, 5K would be really useful to deliver 4K content, but without the huge file of 8K. So there you go. R5, R6, first log video. Thanks for watching. Now we are just going to see what Sony is going to do about this.